Put the fucking mic on.
It's on, dude.
Let's start it out right here.
I got mail. Yay! I got mail.
So,
yay!
This email is from Matt Jones of Baldwin, Missouri. And when people contact us on our contact form to ask questions on the website, they can leave a donation because we spent a lot of time answering those. And he did just that. So thank you very much, Matt Jones, for that kind donation. And we did get back to him. But here's his question when he emailed us. He says, "Thank you for your time. I'm not sure if I have a case or if I'm just grasping at straws, but I would like to hear your opinion on this. March 2018, I bought a 2018 Harley-Davidson Breakout. Before taking possession of the bike, I had them do a Stage 4 117 kit, Vance & Hines 2 and 2 big radius pipes, and a tune for it. I was not given a choice or option for what tuner they used. Shows on the build, it was a Power Vision TC2 flash, so you got a flash with a PV, okay. Fast forward 1 year, 3 months, and 5,000 miles. The engine started knocking from piston slap in the cylinder. Took it into Harley-Davidson, of course. This would be his dealer, of course. Of course, they told me the warranty was voided because of the tune, and I paid $5,500 to fix the issues. Now the questions. EPA made it legal to sell products that alter the ECM. Not sure when in 2016. The EPA forced Harley-Davidson to stop selling the illegal aftermarket defeat devices in the United States by August 23, 2016. After watching Harley Can't Void Your Warranty Anymore, he's talking about my video that I did, EPA-compliant Harley EFI tuners, and some other research got me thinking, if Harley dealerships were told they could not sell tuners, example, Power Vision tuner, that weren't EPA compliant after August 2016, and they did that, would it be a breach of agreement? It would be a breach of agreement, he's asking. So did the Harley dealership willingly sell a tuner that was illegal or sold the tuner under the pretense it was EPA compliant, which would not void the warranty? Do you think there would be a case against the Harley-Davidson dealership and Harley to get the engine repairs covered? My thoughts to this, he says, whichever way the dealership would answer this question, they would be screwed either way if my assumptions are correct. Is there any info you can point me to or cases like this?" So you say I responded to this? Yes, I did. Because my signature's at the bottom. So here's what I said. I vaguely remember this.
Yep.
These emails we saved for a while. So I said, "Hey, Matt, thank you much for your generous donation. We spend a lot of time answering emails and assisting bikers, so your support truly helps us to continue our work. And your question is excellent and has given me a lot to think about as I try to provide a helpful answer. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV either, but I'll do my best to offer some insights. There seem to be two main issues here: the piston slap engine problem you experienced and the EFI tuner that voided your warranty. I'm not sure about the paperwork you signed or the conversations you had with the service department during the installation of the Stage 4 upgrade parts. It's well known that Harley voids warranties for aftermarket non-EPA compliant tuners. The challenge is providing that the EFI tuner caused the engine issue, which I think would be difficult. The engine work was completed and the warranty had expired by the time you encountered the problem. Additionally, during the transition period with the EPA and tuners, dealerships had varying practices as they received updated information and adjusted their procedures. If you were to pursue legal actions, you'd need to go after the specific dealership and somehow prove the engine issue was caused by the non-compliant tuner. If you want to address the sale of a non-compliant EFI tuner, that would be a matter for the EPA to enforce rather than a civil lawsuit. With that in mind, it might be worthwhile to consult with an attorney who specializes in these cases to see what they recommend. Ultimately, the burden of proof will be on you, and pursuing this could involve significant out-of-pocket expenses. I hope this helps in some way. If you decide to move forward, please keep us updated. I'd love to hear how it all turns out. So thank you very much for the email, and I hope that information somehow helps others out there. Apparently, Lurch can't walk by there without bumping that camera.
Why has it got to be me?
It is
every
not
time?
me, because I know it's there, and I don't touch it because of that.
I haven't touched that camera.
Yeah, right. I adjust it every time. All you have to do, it's light. If you just rub it with your sleeve or your coat, I mean, you might not even feel it. It's that loose, so it just gets off.
It wasn't me.
It is you.
It's got to be somebody else.
I'm blaming you.
I walk around that thing because I don't want to be
Silence, fool. Want to ride longer? Tired of a sore and achy ass? Fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to the Law-Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions. Why don't you hit the notification?
So we have just lightly hitting it because we've hit it quite a bit recently, but we have a back in stock notification app now. You guys wanted us to have some way to let you know when things were back in stock because stuff comes and goes.
In the store.
So you can, if you go to a listing in our store and it shows that's out of stock, you'll see a red banner on the right side of the computer, at least on the desktop version, and it says notify me when back in stock. Click that thing. It'll give you the ability to enter your phone number and or your email, and that way you can get notified when we put it back in stock.
Hey, Bikeaholics, Sero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike.
I like gold.
Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products, Sero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Sero 3D products. Lurch has got some stuff that I'll just preface it. You guys know we are adding shizzle to the store.
What is shizzle?
It's the nizzle.
Can you buy shizzle?
It's the nizzle. You should know what shizzle is.
I do.
So we are
the shit.
It's the shit. We are adding the shizzle to the store faster than we can promote. So just keep heading back, obviously, to the Law Abiding Biker store. We're making announcements as we can on the podcast to guide and give you guys an idea of some of the items, which are very appropriate for what we're going to talk about later in this episode. So Lurch wants to promote the following items.
We've been adding tenders and jump packs. So we've got some Optimate battery tenders, and we've got some NOCO battery tenders as well. Both real popular brands. We're really impressed with the Optimate stuff. It's a great replacement for the Deltran battery tender junior. A lot more functionality and options at a price that's like $3 or $4 over what the Deltran stuff costs. We've got some ride power jump packs. We got some anti-gravity jump packs, and we also have some NOCO jump packs. So quite a few jump packs and tenders.
Yes. Backing up to Optimate, we were in the store this morning. You said we are currently on back. We sold them so fast.
We sold all their two bank. The Optimate two bank are currently out, but they've got more coming. So hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, obviously our patrons listening to it live right now,
right?
No, but by the time it comes out, hopefully they're back in stock.
Yep. And so yeah, Optimate, really great running those out here in the shop. And obviously there's a video on. Just go to the battery tenders in our store and check out our recent video where we get in depth, because there is way more to battery tenders than you would think. And not all battery tenders are created equal. So again, go to Optimate, go to anywhere in our store, just type in battery tender in the search, and you'll come up with all the battery tenders, and that video is embedded at the bottom of each listing. It's been a very popular video. So popular that we're moving these things. And we recently did a video on jump packs, like he said, Lurch, which we're going to actually talk about. We already did an episode on which the patrons already have. Patron members already have it because it was uploaded to their account. And that was on jump packs. So make sure you check that out. If you're listening in regular podcast format, by the time you get this one, it will probably be out too. But they're not all jump packs. Jump starter packs and personal battery banks are created equal. And like Lurch says, so we've got ride power, anti-gravity, and NOCO in there. And check that video out. If you go to any of the jump packs, just put in jump start, is what I would search, because they're not actually called packs in our store, but jump start. You can get all the listings for that. And again, watch that video. It's embedded at the bottom. Very informational, but nonetheless, we've got a bunch of stuff to go over in this episode, and that is one of many things. Again, this is a live video broadcast and chat for our beloved patron members, and we're so glad that you all are here. that said, I say we get this show on the road. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
That's right. In charge of the motorcycle scene right here. You're in charge of it too. By being here, by listening, you're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
We have just one question for you. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Ryan Urlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast.
And your high-tech redneck.
There he goes. And we appreciate everybody, all the live or members in the live chat.
Oh, yeah. They're starting to pop in.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. And just because we're actually recording this in live, technically, right? Not technically, realistically, right?
Yeah.
The day before Christmas Eve, 2 days to Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. So we're for the end of 2024, we got to take it out.
Oh, Lord.
With this.
Oh. Beautiful. I knew you'd be up for that for for taking it out on 2024 here. All right, so in this episode, guys, we've got three main topics, and we're going to start here just to give you an idea, overview. We are very interested in monitoring the chat. We love you guys. We want to see you in the chat, and if you have any input or just a lot of times you guys just chat amongst yourself, and that's great too. But we will be lightly monitoring that in case there's any input. So number one, we are going to talk about, yes, Indian Motorcycle 2024 global sales are losing in double digits. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Harley-Davidson name dragged into tariffs again. And then third, we're going to talk about what I already said, motorcycle battery jump starter guide, and kind of go over some of that with you guys. So we appreciate, obviously, this is a patron event, and we are so glad that you guys are in here. And patrons themselves are a reason, and they're direct sponsors, and why we're still coming to you strong, going on 14 years here in 2025. I want to thank the following people. We'd like to thank Bruce Bynard of Asheville, Ohio, Michael Lombardozzi of Export, Pennsylvania, and Robert Lepper of Idaho Falls, Idaho.
There you go. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. You simply get signed up for a monthly subscription, and you choose what level of benefits that you want to receive. And there are a plethora of benefits, such as t-shirts and stickers, access to the private Facebook group. It is a troll-free zone. It is nothing but bikers helping and connecting with other bikers in there. It is a great forum, very searchable, 14 years of content, amazing place to be. You get a patron discount code to be used in the Law Abiding Biker store on any purchase all year, every day. It's just there, and you always get your patron discount. You get access to live video broadcasts and chat like this. You get premium videos upon request, podcasts early, and of course, access to those ride, meetup, and events. Just a lot of benefits, and we're always adding to those, and we appreciate you guys so much. We do appreciate you considering becoming a member. Get over there, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, and get further information over there. The reason we're talking about this is clearly not a bash on Indian at all. You'll see online, it's unfortunate. We try to do like videos on the YouTube channel and the podcasts that are informative. Sometimes we don't have all the answers. An example is Harley sales are down. Okay. It's unfortunate what's going on in YouTube right now. Been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, a lot of YouTubers base their business models on how many views, and they're trying to get pennies per view on their videos, which is what AdSense is like pennies per 1,000 clicks. And you could tell the channels that don't have a business model outside that because they're just trying to do clickbait. And so it's unfortunate. I get it. It's, I just believe you can still talk about it and you can have a great title, but do it once and then let the community have a conversation and say, hey, I don't know, if Harley's over, or, whatever clickbait you want to do, or I won't even call it clickbait because it's a titled subject, right? What I'm getting at is these YouTube channels just keep going on and on week after week, and Harley this and Harley that, and Harley's doomed, and oh my God, and they're making bikes here and they're making bikes there, and so is Indian. Okay. But you don't see Indian. Why? Because the Indian wouldn't get the views. Sorry. You title it Harley, you're going to get 10 times the views you would if you titled that Indian. That's not a put down on Indian motorcycles at all. Harley's the big dog. That's who everybody goes after. That's why Apple always they're the big dogs. They always get nailed because you got to go after the big guys. That's the clickbait title. So YouTubers, please stop, or please find a better business model than, just rash, over and over. So what we thought we would do, we have done a video. We did it in 23. The economy was bad. We haven't done a video on it this year. We did do a podcast we talked all about Harley and sales and moving production to Thailand and some things like that. But some new things have come up. So anyways, we just wanted to put in light that, Indian sales are down too, but none of the YouTubers are going over that, the ones that are just out for views.
And I know we have a couple of Indian riders in the chat. We've got Anthony and Stacy in there. So
very cool.
Yeah, both of them are in there. So we'll see if they've got any input.
Well, hello, Anthony and Stacy Peters. Thanks for being in there. We appreciate it. So again, this isn't to bash Indian. We already did one on Harley. Sales are down. Welcome to the game. Indian's in the same game. It is the state of motorcycles. KTM is on the brink of going out of business.
I saw that.
Yeah, it is
what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I was going to do an episode on that, but maybe next year.
Yeah.
Because there's still some stuff up in the air. But
maybe we can get Oscar and or Big Daddy up here too. Since
for sure.
They're very knowledgeable in that space.
For sure. So we thought we would do episode on to follow up on our Harley sales are down. So Indian is not doing well by these statistics and numbers, and we did a lot of research, and Lurch has some cool information too. But we're kind of just going to go over what's going on with Indian, and of course, Indian owned by Polaris. Indian is not just motorcycles; they make everything from side by sides to snowmobiles to whatever, a plethora of off-road vehicles and things like that. So the Polaris acquisition was in 2011. So Polaris acquired Indian, as we know. Bought the name. They weren't making Indians. They just said, we want the name and we want to continue the legacy there. So reestablished operations in Minnesota and Iowa at that time. They released motorcycles with traditional styling starting in 2013. So you started seeing Indian motorcycles coming out of Polaris at that time. Now, the product line, there's 7 motorcycle families. Apparently, within their product line, there's accessories, apparel, and mono-brand stores, I guess. International distribution in over 60 countries for Indian. Key models they wanted to note was FTR 1200, launched in 2019. That was big for them. One. And I agree. That's a badass bike. In fact, I would love to have one, honestly. I've looked at them, and I just saw one the other day. I think it was when I was doing research for this, and I was like, fuck, that's a good looking bike. The FTR 1200 is a cool bike. And we've talked about that in the past, that I'm surprised Harley hasn't done it. We talked about the Harley, not to go down a too big a rabbit hole here, but the Bronx Street Fighter, which was a concept bike that they still haven't put out that would have directly competed. But man, Indian nails it in that category, the FTR 1200. It's done really well for them. Let's talk about some global sales trends and jump in any time, Lurch. I'm just kind of going down this.
I just want to throw in there that
sure.
I'm really looking forward to that Scout 101. I really hope. Brand Amp, if you're listening, they're the company that does the marketing for Indian. If you're listening to this podcast, come get your touring bike and send us that.
We still got the Pursuit sitting in the store.
Come get that and send us the Scout 101.
We're done reviewing the Pursuit. It's been over a year and like 3 months now. And so I've already done the YouTube reviews and podcasts on that, but it's sitting in the store. If you're in the area and you want to come in the store, it's sitting there. It's great for show.
Yeah, it's a good looking bike. It looks good in the store.
It does. It's on a tender. It's on one of our tenders. Speaking of our battery tenders. Right. So we grabbed one off the shelf. But anyways, Let's talk about global. Yeah, we want to get our hands on that 101. I want to review that thing on the channel. So we're working it for you guys. If you know anybody, it's a third-party marketing company, and they're a little bit slow to respond sometimes. So, all right, global sales trends, record growth. So record sales in 2022, 43,000 units, essentially. Notable market share gains from Harley-Davidson.
And I think that was primarily in those smaller bikes, wasn't it, in the Scout lineup?
That I don't know.
I believe, based on some of the research I did on previous podcasts, that Indian was really starting to grab that market share of the smaller bikes.
Makes sense.
And part of it, I think, is Harley got rid of the Sportsters, and they kind of started messing around with that smaller bike line.
Right.
And Indian was grabbing onto it.
They still got the Sportster Nightster, so they do have Sportsters. They just went away from the traditional Sportster.
The traditional classic look, yeah.
Yeah, so you're probably right on that. I don't have any research on that. Decline in sales. So 2022, they did really well. Then all of a sudden, where am I? 2023, that's where I'm at. That is when things started going south. 2023, 2024 declined to around 37,000 units. So that's fairly substantial. That's a negative 12.4% in 2024, which is a huge hit for a company. I've always said the thing about Polaris is they'll survive as a company. They'll just chop Indian. I hope by
two sides to that
God
coin.
They don't do that. That's horrible for us, as we need Harley to have competitors. That's not good. The Indian, I will tell you, have an Indian around, whether you like Indian or Harley more, that's a personal preference, but they have pushed Harley to do things because in 2022, we saw it. They started, Harley is like, somebody's after us. We need to stay on top. So that is really bad for the industry if they were to ever chop Indian.
Yeah. That competition in the marketplace really drives, the motivation to create new things, right? To be innovative. And so losing a company like Indian would be bad for Harley riders too. It's bad for the motorcycle industry, but it's also going to be bad for Harley, whether you like Indian or not.
Right. Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And I was saying there's two sides of that coin. When you're talking about Polaris being a big company and Indian's just one of their brands, they could absorb losses longer if it's a big company and they got many umbrellas, if they have a plan moving forward, to really ramp up Indian. But the other side of it is, like you were mentioning, they could just go, it's not making money, we're out.
Right, sell the name off to another company, which would likely happen. Somebody would want to buy the Indian name. And they can. They're a big company. So is Harley. I mean, they can soak it up. These are, the amount of money these companies have is insanity. So they don't want to do it too long. They could, they want to shave the tumor if they have to, so to speak, but they could absorb it for quite a while. So a lot of decline in 23, 24, double-digit losses in key markets. The USA minus 15%, Europe minus 9.9%. So some of the challenges moving forward, one of their challenges, so does Harley, heavy reliance on the US market, which was 64% of their business. So, and then limited innovation. They reshaped the classic models, which helped initially, which was cool, like we said, back in 2013. Lack of new product introductions, really, aside from the FTR 1200. They're kind of, haven't come out with a lot. And I said, Harley hasn't matched the FTR 1200, in my opinion. One thing Indian big has failed on is they haven't matched the Pan America Adventure. They've done nothing to compete with that. So both companies and KTM's having troubles. This is just a interesting era for motorcycles in general. A lot of people say, well, it's the big air-cooled V-twin stuff. No, KTM is not, and they are having problems too. So,
being that Polaris is a power sport, they do more than just the bikes. They do snowmobiles, they do marine. I'm surprised they haven't looked at some type of an adventure bike. You think that'd be right up their market or up their alley?
Well, yeah, you would think so. Yeah. That's why I'm so
I hadn't thought about that.
Dumbfounded that that they haven't had an answer to that yet. So, all right. So, anything else? Did you have some research and stuff? You were spitting off all kinds of stuff while we're getting ready.
Oh, I was just watching some stuff ahead of time. I was talking about Indian and the name and
Well, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
Well, you covered most of it, actually,
Oh, did
believe it
I?
or not. But yeah, just to go back in 2011, they bought the Indian name. Apparently there was another gentleman that owned the name for about 5 years before they bought it. But also they dumped Victory at the same time to take over the Indian name. And some of I believe what I heard was some of the motor stuff came over from Victory. But there's a concern that since they dumped Victory, that there's a good chance they could potentially dump Indian as well.
Yeah. Very true. I hope that, again, guys.
God, I hope not.
I am not wishing for that at all.
But of course, like you say, all the YouTubers out there that are trying to get clicks are saying, is Indian doomed? Are they closing Indian and all kinds of stuff just to get the clicks? While it's tough, it's been tough for Indian. It's been tough for Harley. The economy wasn't exactly terribly great the last couple of years either. I imagine that has to do something with it, because for most people, motorcycles are the secondary. They've got a car, they got a truck, and their bike is what they ride for fun. And if something has to go because inflation's insane and they can't afford groceries, the bike's going to go. So maybe people aren't buying new bikes. I'm hoping that as we move into 2025, drill, baby, drill, maybe the economy will come back around and bike sales will go back up. We'll see.
Yep. Good stuff, guys. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see with the new administration here in the United States. Of course, the economy has already seen, without getting political in any way,
right?
It's factual. The economy is definitely booming. Sales are way up during the Christmas season. The economy, the positivity overall, moving in with the new administration is really good. So hopefully that will help. But that's going to kind of move us into the next, so to speak, article, which is we also may see some tariff stuff coming. And we know Harley back before was facing some possible tariff, as many companies. And so we're hearing some talk of some of that again. And we want to dive into that a little bit. Now, before we do that, I just want to tell you guys, obviously we love Sero 3D. They're a longtime sponsor of the show. And they are working hard behind the scenes right now to create stuff for the 24 and newer Harleys with the new fairing redesign. It takes some time, as you've seen even from a lot of other companies, aside from Sero 3D. But I know for a fact they are going to come out with some badass stuff. We don't have any dates yet. But I just want to tell you guys that we thank them for being a longtime sponsor. A little bit different than the ad roll we usually do, but I like to change it up. And as soon as they have that stuff available, of course, it will be put in the law-abiding biker store, and it will also be installed on my 24 Street Glide. So I'm super excited going into 25 for us to see what Sero does. They're going to drop it on us. I know we'll be one of the first to know because, well, they're a sponsor and we sell it in our store. And so we are looking forward to see what kind of awesome stuff they come up with, because they are amazing with their design and innovation over there. Again, Sero 3D, guys, available in the law-abiding biker store. Check it all out. Previous 24, we got years of stuff in there. So, yeah. All right. So let's move into our next, which is exactly what I said, which is going to be talking about, let me close that, about Harley-Davidson's name dragged into talks or tariffs again. So let me go over here and we will no, that's not what I needed. Let's see.
Looking.
There it is.
Oh,
look at that.
Found.
So here we go, guys. So when President-elect Donald Trump, he did recently talk about putting a 25% tariff on all goods entering the United States from Mexico and Canada as a way to pressure neighboring countries on border issues. I just want to put up front, this podcast is not meant in any way to be political on that. Tariffs have been used for many years by many different presidents, and they're very effective. And a lot of times the tariff talk is just to get people to the table. We all know that. So, you can say, oh God, the world's ending because we have tariffs. We've had tariffs for as long as I can remember.
Yeah,
and they come and go.
Other countries tariff our stuff going into their countries.
Right. Let's just make it all fair. I agree. We've been taking the short end of the stick for a lot of years, so it's time to get it back a little bit. So anyways, there is talk of the tariffs, and of course that causes headlines. It causes us to talk about it here on the podcast and kind of the effect on Harley. There's a bit more to it than that because there's some things intertwined, which we'll get to. And of course, as soon as Trump said that, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is loved up there, I added that.
Not from the guys I've talked to that live in Canada.
Me neither.
I think he's got a worse approval rating than our current president.
I think that is true.
Which is difficult.
It is. That's working hard.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned, of course, the last round of trade policy in retaliation in 2018 during the first Trump administration when Harley-Davidson motorcycles were targeted along with other American products, with Trump threatening tariffs on a variety of countries should Harley-Davidson be worried, is what we're going to kind of discuss here. So let's try to look at this, I say, without some of the far too common, like we've said, oh my God, some of the, we talked about it earlier, the YouTube titles, Hardy's screwed and tariffs and blah, 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 blah. So we kind of wanted to break it down and give it a little reality to what's really going on here. So Harley-Davidson initially got around the tariffs. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did, they got around the tariffs by shipping motorcycles built at its Thailand plant to Europe, and then they were saying they weren't from the United States.
Which technically,
well, it's a slick
You're
move,
right.
Harley. I love my Harley, but that's a slick. These are what these big companies do.
and they didn't move obviously all the production of the bikes, but they moved the production of a lot of the Rev Max stuff over there, the smaller bikes that are more popular in the Asian market, and so they moved production of those bikes over there and made them in Thailand and then shipped them to the EU. I mean, that sounds good to me. They're not made in the U.S. They're made in Thailand.
Well, it
By a
sounds
U.S. company, though.
It sounds good as long as your administration allows that. But that is going to turn, which I kind of have to agree with personally. Sorry. The reason I say that is I just obviously want us, when I say us, the United States, we sell everything in our store. We obviously have to. A lot of it's from overseas, but any American-made products that we can get in our store, we love that. I love to see manufacturing back in the U.S., love to see American jobs, American workers, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'd be a foolish not to. So it worked, but apparently that will not work in the future because this is interesting because an EU court ruled against that approach. And in any case, the EU can always just put tariffs on a company's products regardless of where they are produced. So there's some problems there for Harley. It was working. It's probably not going to work. Anyways, in the end, the trade dispute was resolved. So that's kind of where we stand now. Now, since the scenario is different this time with the president-elect Trump about tariffs, talking about tariffs and goods from China, Canada, and Mexico. In addition, the EU, the events from the first Trump administration may not be all that helpful in guessing what will happen this time. So moving down in this, we're just hitting the high points. For the first time ever, Harley-Davidson will be building motorcycles outside the United States that will be sold in the U.S. market.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring those bikes from
gotta
Thailand
come
into the US.
home.
Got to bring them back.
Got to come home.
Yeah.
And specifically, it's Revolution Max models, the Pan America, Sportster S, and Nightster. And that is a change of policy because previously the motorcycles built at plants were destined only to foreign markets.
Right.
So this is interesting. It gets good. So what if the Revolution Max models built in Thailand get slapped with a tariff by the Trump administration? So this is interesting. This is a tweet from Trump back in June 26th of 2018. And here it reads, when I had a Harley-Davidson officials over to the White House, I chided them about the tariffs in other countries like India being too high. Companies are now coming back to America. And this is interesting. Harley must know that they won't be able to sell back into the U.S. without paying a big tax !
So they're planning to move them over to Thailand to save on tariffs going into the EU market, may be counterproductive because they're trying to bring those now back into the U.S. and they're going to have to pay tariffs to bring them back into the U.S.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, big business. And Apple does a lot of this stuff too, just comparing another very large American company. They're always trying to navigate how to save a buck here. I get it.
Sure.
They're not doing anything illegal. They're doing it within the rules, but now the rules are changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure they're like, all right, we gotta figure this out. So anyways, so let's see. I just want to see. So yeah. So Harley-Davidson. Yeah. If somebody tells them, Trump, Harley-Davidson is building motorcycles in Thailand to sell to the U.S. consumers, it's not hard to imagine that the old threat from 6 years ago would be resurrected very highly. Because, obviously we know Trump coming in is very much for U.S. workers, U.S. factories, U.S., pay your fair share. You're not going to put tariffs on us and you're not going to just rip us off. We're going to put tariffs back on you and that whole trade war stuff.
Anthony Peters said, could HD import the engine and assemble the bikes in the U.S.? You sure could. I mean, but they've moved all the production out, and they're being produced over there. So I don't know how streamlined that would be. They'd have to start doing assembly again here in the U.S. And based on some of the research we've done from other podcasts, by pushing that Rev Max stuff over there and just doing it over there, it's streamlining their process for the big V-twin stuff here in the U.S. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yep. And again, I want to reiterate, all the unfortunate stuff on YouTube and stuff, but this shouldn't cause hysteria. This stuff's went on for many, many years. Yeah. Harley's going to have to navigate it. The U.S. government's going to navigate it. People are going to, all it does is brings people to the table and talks. And at the end of the day, if it makes Harley bring stuff back here, I'm all in on that. I'm fine with that if it creates jobs here in America and stuff like that. So anyways, despite the quick quarter posting a profit, this is something too that the YouTubers that want to just get clicks won't tell you, is that they actually posted a profit, not a loss, a profit of $119 million for a 3-month period. So, there's differences, but as far as profit goes, it wasn't a loss. So, but there's a lot of other numbers that go into overall and investors and things like that. So we won't get into that. But anyways, yeah, just be careful. All the hype, try not to give that stuff too much attention or views, because that's all it is. None of this means that Harley, like Harley's demised or maybe you see when Indians is demised, and it's a market that they're navigating. And, like I say, a lot of motorcycle companies are having, issues right now with that as they try to, it's a different, we've talked about it in the past, different, demographic generations coming up, and they have to kind of navigate that. And are people still interested in this sport, and how do we make them interested? And that's what every company does. It's long-term goals. And, these are really just little road bumps that, they have to get over and navigate and figure out a new way to do things. And like I say, if it brings people to the table to talk and do better business practices and strategies, well, then you can't argue about that. So yeah. And thanks again, everybody, for being in the chat. Appreciate it. All the Patron members in there. All right. Whew, it's a lot. And we're going to move on to our last topic, which probably will be just a little bit longer. But we definitely want to do this real quick.
Ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials, and it's unlike gel pads that will leak if punctured. Just look on your face. You don't even need to say anything.
I'm not even going to say it.
The butt buffer is designed not to slide around your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easily cleans, and helps damp in those damn vibrations.
Gold-darn vibrations.
With plenty of miles to choose from, they'll assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head on over to the Law-Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat products.
There you go, guys. All right, so let's dive into this, and it is all about our battery jump start. Some people call them jump packs. Some people call them jump starters. These are all jump starters and personal power banks. They kind of have two purposes. They are not all created equal. And I'll just say up front that, let me get our This is what we're going to go off here. So I will just say, we are always bringing stuff to the Law Abiding Biker Store for you guys. At this point, we're not just bringing everything. We're not just importing every product available to us. We're a bit more calculated at this juncture, where we try to, because here's the problem that I see, and is you go to get a jump pack or jump starter, and you're like, holy shit, I don't know what milliamps is, and I don't know this volts and this, and I don't know the size, and I don't know the brand, and I don't know what's good, and I don't know what's bad, and I don't know what's small, and I don't. So you just get this overwhelmed. I've done it. Like, holy shit. And there's just so many off-brand names on, like, from different places, on Amazon and eBay. And you're like, I don't even know if that's safe. And I just,
if you got to ask yourself that, it's probably a good chance it's not.
Yeah. Some of the names on Amazon, they're all just sourcing it from Alibaba, and they're just marking it up and rebranding it for you. Mm-hmm. We get it. That's the Amazon game. And you see the same thing. You're like, that one looks exactly like that one, but that one's named this and this one's named whatever kind of names you can come up with that are hard to pronounce. So point being, we sourced these ones we believe in, and it's not everything, of course, but we like them. We know them. We know you'll be happy with them. They're good for motorcycles. We have some bigger ones that you can get multi-purpose depending on how much room you have in your bike. But nonetheless, same thing we did with battery tenders. We've got 3 different brands in there. We've got 2 different brands of jump packs, I believe. 2
jump packs, 3 different.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. 3 different. And so go over to the Law Abiding Biker Store. Links will be in the show notes for this episode, and you can kind of take a look. But again, the other thing we do is anytime we do a video on a product in our store, we embed that video at the bottom of a listing. So you can also go to YouTube and search, or the regular website, lawabidingbiker.com, and search. But if you go to the store and you find the listing, the video is always going to be right there, and you can take you right through to YouTube, or you can it's embedded. You can watch it right there. So very informative videos. A lot of what we're going to go through right now is in the video. So if you want to get some more visuals and things like that, or you can click the link to the store and get some visuals that way while you're listening, completely up to you. But I just wanted to mention that is over there. So that's why these ones that we're going to talk about made it to the Law Abiding Biker Store. And we get at the same price. You can find these different places online. We can get at the same price as anybody else. We get at the same price for you, and we get it shipped just as quick. Lickety split. That's what we do. Amazon's no amazing thing these days at all anymore. As far as shipping, we all get free fast shipping. We have access to the same stuff through the shipping companies. So you're going to get it quick. Remember, Patron members, 365 days a year, you get to use your Patron discount code for 10% off everything store-wide, 365, 7 days a week, never stops. And also orders over $100, free shipping. So that you get to take advantage of that. And remember, if you're not a Washington State resident, not Washington, D.C., Washington State, that state right up in the northwest of the U.S., if you're not live in that state, no tax outside Washington State. So there's some big things that we offer that a lot of the other stores can't offer. So, and of course, just you're supporting a bootstrap company of bikers trying to help as many bikers as we can worldwide. We will take care of you. We appreciate every single customer. It's people, bikers behind the scene that live, eat, breathe the motorcycle. They use industry. They use a lot of the stuff. They can talk about it firsthand experience. So they are there to help. So Lurch, do you want to just go over some of this? Let me close this. All right. And I basically am bringing up our article here. Oh yeah, Lurch, watch this.
Oh yeah, you showed me some new tech stuff today.
Oh yeah, dude.
How you can just get rid of stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah, let's do this.
I might have to go away from Google Chrome and start using Safari.
Oh yeah, dude. Watch this.
Oh. Okay. Are you showing the
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Dude. Is that so cool? Oh, I don't want that either. What I'm doing, guys, if you didn't know.
I didn't. I learned today.
If you use the Safari browser, which I'm using pretty much exclusively now because it's not so heavy as Google Chrome. It has way more features. It's better. It's faster. It's quicker. It's safer. We use Google Chrome for some things, but within Safari, you can go up. And so like I'm on a website and there's commercials. You know how you go to get a recipe or something, there's pinned commercials everywhere. Our website does it too, because we have ads turned on. But I can literally go up and I basically turn it on, and I'm going to do done, but so I can see what it is, and I can click and I can do hide distracting items. And so it's a beautiful UI too, because any commercial that's in the article, I shouldn't be saying this because our website makes some money off commercials, but nonetheless, I'm proud of it. It's at least of our money. But you can go to these ads and I can click on them, and as soon it highlights them and puts a box around them, and I click on them with my mouse, and they do this like fuzzy, really small confetti type. I don't even know what it is. It's like, and it wipes it off the screen. That ad on this website now is completely gone. There's another one. Boom.
Makes it look like it disintegrates and floats away in the wind. It disintegrates,
and the ads are gone. So this article has 0 ads distracting me now. It's a clean article, no ads. That's Safari. On Google Chrome, there's ad blockers and stuff. They don't always work, but this is so neat because you can just keep clicking on them until the actual article is completely clean and void of any commercials, any articles. So yeah, there you go. Little pro tip for Safari on my MacBook Pro here. You could do the same thing on mobile. Pretty awesome stuff. I know websites don't like it. Unfortunately, it is how websites, takes a lot of time to write these articles, and it is a way we do generate some ad revenue. But nonetheless, there's your little pro tip for the day. All right. So getting back to motorcycle stuff, I am the high-tech redneck.
Yes, you are.
Let's not forget.
It doesn't hurt to give a little high-tech tips once in a while.
No, not at all. All right. So here's the deal, guys. Obviously, we talk about it in the past. Riding motorcycles, we love it. We go out on a 10-day trip. We're going to Canada. We've had this happen before. So we're all, you want to be prepared is what I'm saying. Last year, we had to jump start my bike twice. I was having some battery issues, or a guy can leave something on his bike and not turn it off. Here's the deal. Why would you want to be stranded? We've said that about toolkits, our Cruise Tools RTH3 roll-up travel toolkit, which has got us back on the road. Well, I say the same thing about a jump start pack. Number one, you have it available. Your bike doesn't start. You can jump it so simple, and you're back on the road. You didn't have to call a tow truck. You didn't have to, walk around a parking lot trying to find jumper cables. That whole time is just delaying your trip. And a lot of our days, we try to get in before dark, and they're that long. And so you put yourself behind an hour or two just because something you could have did in a minute. Then, having a jump pack on board has proven itself time and time again for us. So also with that said, the nice thing about these jump packs, and we'll go over some of the features, is they're more than just jump packs. They're small, compact, but they also have features such as chargers. We're going to talk about that. Flashlight, right? It's an all-in-one. So if it is at night, you got your Cruise Tools RTH3 kit, roll it out. You got a flashlight now, always charged, because you're going to have it charged. That's one thing. I carry a little, before the jump pack, I carried a little tiny flashlight, and a year goes by and you go to use it and it's dead. So the thing about the jump pack is nice. It has the light on it. It's got to be charged, because it's not going to be able to jump your bike if you don't keep it charged. So you always have a kind of an endless flashlight, so to speak, on those. So, and you're stranded, at least your phone's dead. You're at lunch break, and you've ridden all day and your headset's low on juice, plug that headset in, throw it in your saddlebag, and it's now charging your headset. So there's just multiple uses for the power banks. And again, like I say, they are not all created equal. There's a lot of junk out there. The ones we're going to present to you, we use, we like, we trust. So that's kind of some food for thought. At least if you're riding in a group, of course, I want you all to buy one. But all jokes aside, we're just, really honest here, but, at least you're running a group of 5 guys, at least one of you, if you're together all the time, has a jump pack. I prefer to have a lot of my own stuff, just so I can be self-sufficient. If you ride by yourself, then you kind of got to be prepared, but at least if you're like, I'm going on a 10-day ride, how many people have a toolkit and how many people have first aid, how many people have jump packs? It's good to take an inventory of those items. So at least if you're always together, you can get the group back on the road. So anything else on that, Lurch?
Just moving into the jump packs. The first one we're going to talk about is the Ride Power jump pack, or jump starter, or whatever you want to call it. I did a little bit of research on Ride Power. I knew that they were designed for motorsports, motorcycles, ATVs, all that kind of stuff, but didn't realize that they're a U.S. company. They're out of Jacksonville, Florida. I just want to read a little bit about them and why why it's your favorite one. So Ride Power has been designing and selling cables and accessories in the market since 2014. The founder, Steve Young, developed a charger cable for his phone, which connected directly to his SAE battery connector. So that connector that you use to plug in your tender and tender your battery, he came up with a cable in 2014 to charge his cell phone. That's kind of where he got started. He incorporated advanced electronic circuitry into the cable and began selling it to the Power Sports network. The rest, as they say, is history. Young has grown the Ride Power collection from a single phone charger cable to a recognized brand that includes charger cables, power connector cables, adapters for phone, and power inductive charging mounts, metal mounts, all kinds of shit, power banks, and jump starters. Ride Power's rugged products are designed for the power sports sector, from motorcycles to watercraft and everything in between, and they are resistant to water, snow, dust, and dirt. The premium circuitry electronic products are designed to protect all devices and the power source. Plus, the cables for phones and electronic device charging are the newest on the market, with USB-C and USB-C connectors to charge all phones.
There you go. Good background information. Gary Jackson in the chat says someone had a video about how to DIY make the jump start tool that just reaches into the starter terminal. Does anyone know where the link is or who did that? So funny enough, interesting enough, if you go to my recent, and you could actually post the link in the chat there.
I can try. I'll see if it allows me. Sometimes I'm
here.
if I can do links.
I'll just share
have
it.
to do it.
I got it right here. Give me a second.
No one seems to
Hey.
So on the touring bikes, and we just recorded a video on. Was it a live? I can't remember a video. We do so much, I can't remember.
I'm posted in there now, but it was a live.
Yeah,
and we showed that. That's why I want to share that link real quick.
Depending on the bike, you may not have the accessibility that we had to the starter. So
right.
Some folks will make a tool, and a lot of times it's just a piece of brass piping. And they flatten it out, and they'll put tape around one end, and then they'll put a little horseshoe grind in the front of it, so it can reach in and touch that nut, and then they can hook the power to that and get it's an extension, basically, is all it is.
So to tie that up further is basically that video I did, guys. It's in that video, but I showed a hack. So I learned it a long time ago, and we used it a lot on our police bikes because they would sit. And sometimes we had multiple police bikes, and some of the trainers that we give new guys were sit, and we'd forget a tender or whatever. Things are busy. And so we were always jumping these dead batteries. And so the fastest way, a lot of people you think you have to take off the seat, and then you got to take off the battery pan, the top, and then you got all the wires and all that. You can do it that way, access the battery directly, but the quickest way to jump start a bike, which will tie up what Lurch just said, we show in that video, but all you do is, especially touring, Harley, the right side, go down there, kneel down, you'll see the starter. There's the big, huge terminal. That is your positive side. You simply hook direct to that, your positive terminal. And then coming off like your transmission cover, there's bolts. You just got to ground it is essentially what you got to do. And I just ground it to like one of those bolts that you're on your side transmission cover. Reach up, fire it up, remove cables, go on down road. It's that quick. No seat removal, no cable. And even Lurch forgot. It can be forgotten. He was in Tennessee jumping my bike because we had some issues, and he was taking off all the seats and the pans. He's like, damn it, I totally forgot. It's so quick. There's just a rubber boot over the positive. So that's what Lurch is talking about. His guys make a thing so you can reach back in there. I guess the other thing you could do, which I would be careful with this, I'm not saying I would do it, but a guy could take another wire, and just make sure it's well coated. It has some sort of major cap on it, because you could take another wire right off the starter and then hide it somewhere in there so that you could just grab it and pull it out the side of the bike. And then you would just hook positive to it, and it's going to the positive starter. And then you could hook the negative. But again, you'd want to make sure that's really shielded, because if that can get grounded out on the frame, or it's just an option. It's basically
make sure it's a
very thick gauge.
Thick gauge, yeah, so you don't melt it.
Same gauge as the starter wire. Or if it's reachable, you just can't reach it. You could make something like Lurch said, like they do, so that however your bike, whatever you need to make to get in there without grounding out, to to the starter positive terminal. But so these jump packs, that's how quick it can be if your battery's dead. Literally 30 seconds, grab your jump pack, find your starter, bam, bam, start it, throw it back in, you're down the road.
And I said copper, I meant brass. Yeah, brass tubing. They flatten it down and use that basically as an extension.
Yeah. Good conversation. Thanks, Gary, for bringing it up. But I show you, if you want a visual of what I'm talking about, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it is within the Jump Start Pack review video. So, yeah. All right. So, moving on. Where were we? I think I accidentally, and I did. So, let me pull.
I just gave it a little bit of a history on Ride Power. We're going to talk about that Ride Power jump pack that you have.
Okay, so why don't you go over some of that, since I've been talking a lot this episode.
It's a really good all-purpose jump pack. Some of the smaller ones are meant just for power sports, for small motors, but this one's got quite a bit of juice to it. It's got 600 constant cranking amps, and that's more than enough to jumpstart your Harley. But it'll also start, light trucks. It'll do up to a 6-liter engine. So not only could you use it on your bike, but you could use it on your car or truck with, not a diesel, but anything 6-liter and smaller. And the great thing is it was designed with motorsports and power sports in mind. And so it's small, it's light. I think it's only 13 ounces. It has 10,000 milliamps, meaning that's how much the battery stores, how much energy it has. So the bigger the milliamps, generally speaking, the larger the battery is as well. So it's a kind of a fine line between how many milliamps it has and how big it is. But it will jumpstart up to a 6-liter engine, like I said. And then it also, the cool thing about this one in particular, the reason I like it, is it comes with the adapters to charge your phone. It's got all the major ones on there. So very great package, and it's small, fits in your saddlebag.
Yep. And I want to talk a little bit about this, guys. As we go down these, I really want you to pay attention to, I had to refresh, you see that?
Yeah.
So, I want you to pay attention as we go down. I'm going to wrap up kind of what Lurch said as far as the specs, because I want you to pay attention to this. 13 ounces. This by far, why it's my favorite. There's a lot of reasons.
Less than a pound. 16 ounces in a pound. So 13 ounces, that is the lightest out of all we carry. That is a good size for motorcycle. And I show in the video, if you want to see the size in that video, I kind of throw it in the trunk. I throw it in a saddlebag to give you an idea of what that little brick looks like as far as, space and some other tips to get more space if you don't want to use the case and stuff. So with that said, number one thing you should pay attention on these is how many milliamps. So 10,000 milliamps. That's going to be how much capacity it has. If you don't know what milliamps are, but we're not going to break it down in a scientific aspect. It's just 10,000. That's plenty. You're going to get many, many jumps off that. It's going to charge a lot of devices. That's a good starting point, is 10,000. 600, and listen to that, constant amps. That's going to be something you have to pay attention to. One of the things I want to say with constant amps. So if we take let's just take a Harley-Davidson battery and a Harley-Davidson touring bike. When you're buying a battery, not a jump starter pack, but when you're buying a battery, the minimum cold cranking amps you want is 300. And I say that's very low. That's kind of a lot of what your stock batteries are. And you guys know sometimes when you start your Harley, it's depending on how cold stuff. That's because it doesn't have a ton of cold cranking amps. So 300 minimum. I say if you're going to be riding in colder weather at all throughout the year, you want at least 500 cold cranking amps, because it's harder to start when it's cold. So 500 to me is the minimum. Then my lithium ion that I had on my 14 Street Glide was 625 cold cranking amps, which is why when you fired that bike, it just bam. So the reason I tell you that is, now that we know that you want somewhere between 300 and 500 minimum cold cranking amps, this Ride Power is 600 constant amps. So it's plenty at constant pull to fire over your bike as fast as my lithium ion battery, because it has that many amps. So something to think about when you're looking at these things. If you have low constant amps, you might want to start thinking about, will that start this motor and things like that. So I'm just trying to give you some sort of foundation
for the numbers that we're talking about. So 600 constant amps is good. Also, I want to mention when these things originally try to start your bike, they're going to spike higher than that. This is constant amps. This is not peak. So they're going to get the bike going and then it's going to back off to that constant amp till it as it's turning over the starter. So that's kind of why we look at constant amps. Can it maintain the cranking amps that it needs to start a particular engine? All right. So by far one of my favorites. It's perfect size. It's got the constant amps. It comes with the case. Did you say all it comes with?
No. Go ahead.
You're going to go over that?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I mentioned the charging.
Gotcha. I'm just going to go into it right in our store listing here, guys.
While you're looking that up, the quick question from David Schwartz is how long can you leave it in the bag before you need to recharge the battery pack? All these jump packs are ion lithium batteries, and that's why they have so much power in such a small space. The funny thing is about your replacement ion lithium batteries for Harleys, if you were to crack the top on that thing, you'd find actually a pretty small battery inside. The ion lithium lithium ion does not require such a large battery. It's lighter, it's smaller, but in order to fit into your Harley, they put it in the same size shell, but that's why you pick it up and it weighs nothing. So these are the same. These are lithium ion batteries, and they can lose 1 to 3 is on the high end, 1 to 3% a month. So, if you left it all year long, you could lose 1 to 36%.
I'll give you a real life example. I left one of mine on the workbench, David, and I didn't charge it for a year. It was an old one I had for my truck and boat. And after a year, it was generally a year, I pulled it out. I'm like, God, I should charge that thing. And it was still over half. Just it's regular. So it was still over half. It still would have jump started. So they hold well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good questions. So a power bank with an LED light. Did you go over features?
No, go ahead.
Oh, you can.
No, go ahead.
I just didn't know what you went over. Okay. So the features on this guy these are something you should look at too. All the ones we sell have, I believe, LED lights. Mm-hmm. They have strobe. They have constant on. They have SOS, where it strobes and flashes to get people's attention. It does have dual USB type A ports, the older standard USB. If you don't know what USB type A is, one is 2.1 amps, one is 1 amp. Those aren't incredible charging speeds if you didn't know. Those are really, really low charge, but they'll still top off your phone over time. They'll still top off a headset. They're not going to be quick charges. None of these come with super high as far as the USB goes, but definitely use the 2.1 amp side. It'll be a little bit quicker. And what I mean by that is you can buy them too, like battery banks for your iPhone, external battery banks. That's a lot of the stuff you want to look at is what's its charging speed, because some of them will just bring it back, which means if you're watching YouTube videos or heavy gaming or something, that battery external pack isn't going to be able to charge it faster than the battery you're using. It's still going to try to top it. Then there's other ones that are super fast. Same with wall blocks, same with charging cords. You get the higher amp, 20 amps, things like that. Your phone's going to charge in like 45 minutes. It's like really fast. So that when you're talking about that, just give you some perspective on why those are so low. It's going to top your phone off. You'll be able to make phone calls, texts, and things like that, but you're not going to be doing heavy gaming while plugged into one of these bad boys and keeping up that way. So it does come with their standard cigarette lighter adapter, which is nice because it comes with a cord. So if you do need to charge the pack itself, you could plug it into your bike if you have that and plug it or the car, and you can charge it up so it's ready to jump again.
And of the battery packs we offer, this is the only one that has that 12-volt cigarette plug-in.
Yep, very good. It is.
Not that you can't come up with one for the other ones, but
right.
This comes with it.
Yep, good point. And the other thing to be aware of is that it comes with 3 different plugs. So it's 3-in-1 basically. And I don't even know if we have pictures of it there. Yeah, right we do. So it comes with, on one end is a USB type A, which can plug into that 2.1 amp port. And then it goes off into 3. All right. And one of them, they're very short, but one of them is a USB type C. All right. Standard, the new iPhone charging cord and some Android devices.
What most everything's going to. Moving towards.
That's what we're moving towards. And then your second one is a Lightning, which was the older iPhone adapter. And then you've got the older, a lot of Androids use them as the micro USB-C. Mm-hmm. So that's the only one that comes with all 3 of those too. So that's what I like about this kit. It's the smallest, it's the lightest, it has perfect amount of milliamps and cranking amps that I need. It has that. It has the lighter, the 12-volt cigarette lighter thing. It's got this cord that, in case I forget my cord, it's like and plus it has the power cord that obviously plugs in, and it all comes in a nice little square black leather case that zips up. All right.
And the unit itself is very rugged.
Yes. It's got grips on the side. I show it in the video. It's got rubber grips on the side. So it's wet. It's raining out. It's not going to be slipping out of your hands. You see some of these power banks, they're just all smooth. This one is a really rugged. You drop it, the rubber is going to absorb a lot of that shock. I mean, it is made for durability and made small to fit in a motorcycle. And I always say, if you don't like, if the square case is too big for you or it doesn't fit in your packing, you can always take the components out, wrap them up in a little stuff sack, or we all got the extra Crown Royal bags. We love those things. You could put it in one of those, wrap it up, and it's going to have a much smaller footprint. You can stuff it down, whatever, but just a few ideas there. All right. That is the Ride Power. And what did I do here?
You close something
there
out
we
again?
go.
Oh,
no. That is the Ride Power and Lurch. So we will move on from that and move on to our second one that we have,
which is the anti-gravity. They've been, and that's the name brand. They've been around for a long time. They claim to be the first one to use these lithium-ion batteries in small packages as jump starters, and that may be true. I remember when I worked for the State Patrol that when we first got these jump packs, it was the anti-gravity, and that was years ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is accurate. They've got some different sizes. They've got the XP1 and they've got the XP10. We'll talk about the XP1. It's smaller. It's more in line with the Ride Power, but it's a little bit heavier and a little bit larger. It has a little bit more milliamps, so it has a little bit more capacity at 12,000 milliamps, but it has less constant amps. It's down at 400. Still plenty enough to start your bike, but 600 is better, let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
It's got two USB ports. It's got a Type A and a Type C on it. This one does have a LCD screen that tells you the percentage. So instead of just having, I believe on the other one, it's got like 4 lights to tell you if you got
true.
100, 75, 50, 25. This has a digital display on it, which is nice. You can see the display, but it's just more things, in my opinion, it's just more things that go wrong with it, right? The other one just got some simple lights to tell you how many, whether 100, 75, 50, or 25. This one has the digital screen, so something to think about. And it also does have a flashlight that will strobe as well. What's missing with this one is it doesn't have a wall charger. It gives you the USB cable, but it doesn't actually have the block, so you'll need to make sure that you purchase a high-quality block for that one so that you can charge it at a reasonable rate. It also doesn't come with the pigtails for the cell phone. So it's just the charger, a soft case to put it in, a charging cable, and then it's got the jumper cables, the alligator clip jumper cables that you're used to seeing. Yeah.
So another good unit, a little bit heavier. When I put it up next to it, it definitely has a bigger footprint. It is, and you'll see that in the video if you watch that. I put them right next to each other, and so heavier, but a little bit bigger too. So definitely something, but great units. There is nothing wrong with the anti-gravity MicroStart. I would carry that thing just as well. Again, like Lurch says, you just need to get yourself the charging block with it. Make sure it's a good fast charging block, so to speak. So,
and then they do make the XP10, which is a little bit larger. It's still, you can put it in your saddlebag, but it is, just be aware, it's significantly larger than the XP1, but it has a lot more juice. It could actually start up to a 7.3 liter diesel truck. So got a lot more juice in it. It's got 18,000 milliamps and 600 constant amps of power.
Yeah, and I think you said comes with all the same stuff.
Oddly enough, the XP10 comes with the wall block.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, it comes with all the same stuff as the XP1, but they throw in the wall block on the 10. I have no idea why, but it's essentially the
right
same
there.
unit. It just is a larger battery, so it's got more milliamps and more constant amps.
And if we didn't mention the anti-gravity XP1, XP10 are coming with, interestingly, this is the XP1. Okay. Let me go to the XP10. They are coming That's very interesting.
But
Oh, it is the XP10. Okay. That's the XP1.
right. Mm-hmm.
That's not a wall charging block?
No, that's a block that plugs into what you're looking at there, plugs into the jump pack.
Oh, that's right.
What he's looking at for the audience is the other side of the alligator clip. It just looks different on the MicroStarts. It's a little bit larger block. Whereas the Ride Power doesn't have that big bulky block that plugs into the jump pack.
Right. Okay. And if you didn't know, the XP1, XP10 are coming with a case. It's a softer case. It's not like leather. It's kind of a nylon bag, so to speak.
Like more of a pouch?
Yeah, pouch, but it still zips around the side. It's just not rigid. The Ride Power is more rigid. This one's more soft. But they're coming with case. These units are awesome, and they are high quality. You definitely would be happy with either of these guys, so don't worry about that. And so those are those two. And then moving down, let's see, did I get that in there? There we go. So our last one, you want to talk about that? We've got two different models, Lurch.
Yeah, these are the NOCO, N-O-C-O jump packs, lithium jump pack, they call them. There's the GB20, which we'll talk about first. It's the smaller one. Again, more for motorcycle and smaller engines. It says it can do 4-liter engines in cars, boats, and motorcycles. So definitely on the smaller side, but it has 4,650 milliamps. So about half of the capacity is the Ride Power, and about a third as the anti-gravity. But it does have 500 constant amps, so that's more than enough to jumpstart your bike. Just with the lower milliamp, it just won't last as long. You won't get as many jumps out of it. It's got it's one of the heavier ones. I mean, it's 1.6 pounds. So
yeah, the NOCOs are definitely bigger.
They're larger. I have a NOCO.
As far as their footprint.
Yeah, it's a bigger pack. Yeah, for sure. And what does it come with?
Well,
one USB
20.
Type A.
Let's just go right into it. Let's find a NOCO. The NOCO, there's the GB40, which we're going to talk about next. Let me know if you see the GB20.
Probably farther down.
Yeah. GB20 right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, that is large, man. I can see that from space.
God, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, Lurch, I'd be retired.
Oh, yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
So it comes obviously with the jump pack itself. It comes with a 40-inch USB micro USB cable. It comes with also a USB charging cable. Comes with battery clamps and a drawstring bag that you can put all those items in.
Drawstring bag. See, there you go. Yeah, so that's the NOCO GB20. They're been around a long time too. Good stuff, but definitely a larger footprint as far as that goes. So just be aware of that. And then moving on up to the GB40.
All the same stuff. It's just going to have a little bit more juice. So it'll fire up 6-liter gas engines, up to a 3-liter diesel engine. It's got, where's it at? The milliamps an hour. I can't quite see it in there. That's
started at 1,000 amps constant.
Well, that's high. So at 1,000. So it's a bigger one. That's going to have
bigger.
the most, definitely a lot more juice.
Let's go back here, Lurch, to the article because I think it's in there. So that's the GB, or that's the XP. There's the GB40, 6,500. I had to look all these up.
Yeah.
They're not very good. I had to do a lot of research to find how many milliamps. They don't like to list that. So
Right.
I found these.
So interestingly enough, those NOCOs have less storage, but they've got some pretty high constant.
Yeah.
Amps.
1.65 pounds. And the NOCOs only have one USB Type A out. So just one port. They're pretty, but they're solid. They're definitely made well. They're quality. They were worthy for sure of coming to the law-abiding biker store. All right. So with that said, we got a lot of chat going on. Sorry, we've been not heavily monitoring it, but it looks like you guys are having a good time in there and chatting. So we appreciate that. All right. So now
I will say that Anthony, as we're talking about different size jump packs, that he said Stacy thinks bigger is better.
Well, Stacy may be right. I'm just saying. I don't know, Anthony. I don't want to throw you under the bus there, but yeah. All right. Let's do this. Because we would love to have you as a patron member. We want to get to know you better. We want to get you benefits, all that good stuff. Want you in the Facebook community, the private Facebook group. But hey, for whatever reason, you just want to drop us a flat donation. We never balk at a flat donation. And Lurch wants to thank the following people.
We'd like to thank Michael Manger of Anna, Ohio, Thong Lee of Sacramento, California, and Ron Vanderplo of Sioux Center, Iowa.
lawabidingbiker.com/donate. That's /donate is how you can leave a flat donation. We appreciate it very much. It helps put a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank,
so we can keep this thing running on down the road.
And I also want to mention a lot of those donations that we're thanking are people leaving tips. They're purchasing in the store. Always humbled by this. Always just amazing. We help a lot of people in the store, and it's just amazing that people will purchase something and then they're also leaving a tip in the form of a donation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just always want to mention when I can that a lot of those donations aren't just flat donations. They're literally donation tips within the store. What an amazing community that we serve here at Law Abiding Biker Media. Never ceases to amaze me. So we covered a lot in that episode, and we wanted to get one more live out here before Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and of course the New Year's, whatever you celebrate, whatever your background is. That's just what we're celebrating here, of course. And so we want to get it out before the New Year. I'll say at least one more live, and we'll have more lives coming at you, and things are going to heat up in 2025. As we know, we're hoping that there'll be announcements from Harley, like they usually do. We're hoping that there'll be an event there, and who knows what that opportunities that'll bring for me to test ride and review anything they're coming out with, to go wherever they're going and ride that stuff, bring the information to you guys. And of course, the Canada meetup, as we start really dialing that in and we start getting a day and area, and then members can start getting signed up. So it's always kind of a lull, it feels like, at the end of the year, but as we move into the new year, things are going to be busier than ever, guys. So if we don't, which we probably won't see most of you before the new year, Happy New Year. And we will catch you on the flip side. Take it out with that, Lurch.
Merry Christmas, everybody, in particular our patrons that are in the chat right now. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lurch, are you going to have a little sip of your gift I got you?
Oh, I might. The boss man got me a little sampler pack of Maker's Mark. It's got the cask strength, and then it has a couple special editions. There's like a 2019 special edition in there and a 2023 special edition. So I think in the scientific fashion, I will need to open them all and pour a little bit of each and work my way through them and maybe make some tasting notes and see what I like.
I can see you. I can visualize you right now with like Beaker from the Muppets with the coat on, dude, and you got your little vials, and you're opening each bottle, dude, with the smoke and stuff, and your hair's all messed up, dude. And you're trying to get the appropriate portions in the beakers, dude, so you can test each one.
It's funny that you say that. I used to belong to a not a whiskey in particular, but a liquor club, and they would send you quarterly. You could pick different items to taste, and they came in little beakers, little like 1 ounce beakers, and then you could take 3 of them and do a blind taste test, and then decide what you like.
I remember you telling me about that. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, that's funny, dude. That's kind of fun. Don't forget, guys, over on YouTube, it's been around for a while, but if you're a regular listener or something, you want to support us, you really appreciate a video that we throw at you, that we upload. There is the ability to leave super thanks. It's an easy way to leave donations right on YouTube videos themselves as a thanks for putting out the content, because obviously we have a very large audience, much larger than the amount of members, patron members. And so there's a lot of ways you can support us, and if that's one that we haven't mentioned a lot before. So that's an opportunity over there on YouTube, because we are, if you guys notice, we're uploading videos like crazy. We've got a lot in the hopper ready to go. We're hoping our heated gear video will come out real soon. It's ready, but we're just added heated gear to the store. Gerbing, amazing. We did an episode on it. You already have that, a podcast episode. That's already uploaded in your Patron accounts.
That'll probably be the first one of the new year, unless depending on what Harley does. If they and what Harley does,
that's true.
If they announce stuff, we may push that. But yeah, first part of the year, it's wintertime. Want to extend your riding season? Heated gear does that.
Yeah, buddy.
Got gerbing and first light.
First gear.
First light's hunting gear. First gear.
Yep. It is in the store. It's available. But before we put the video out, obviously you guys can get it now, but we want to make sure that we have some logistics in place and stock and things like that. So, but it is listed on there. And yeah, amazing stuff. But lots of videos coming at you. And thanks so much, everybody, for being here in the chat. Live. It's good to see David Schwartz in the chat. It's been a while, David. Hope you're well, brother.
Well, we've been doing our lives on Fridays, which are his, I think he said Shabbat or Sabbath. I'm not sure which. Oh, is Shabbath. So we
Sabbath.
Well, he put SH, so I'm going to say it's Shabbath, being that he's in Israel. So we need to maybe not always do them on Fridays. I told him we'd try to schedule them on some different days too.
There you go.
Shabbat, I think is how you say it.
Okay, all right.
Properly. I hope I did that right, David.
If Lurch didn't, I will whip him 3 times with a wet noodle and for you and discipline him, okay? All right. Anyways, thanks for being here, guys, so much. And with that said, we are going to take it out of here. If I can find, I've got 13 tabs open, but there it is, guys. All right. All right. I love you all. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for being in here. Love you guys. Peace. Happy New Year.